Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kamanzi Constable. Here we talk about business, life, travel, and trending topics. I'm very glad you're here. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you can get all of the notifications when I drop new content. My goal is to give you practical content that will help you build every part of your life and business. Welcome back to my channel. And welcome to the new subscribers to my channel. I did make a promise that once I got to 300 subscribers, I would make a video about paid publications, and this is that video. Now, here's the thing. Too many writers, content creators, entrepreneurs are out there creating all of this content on social media and various places where it's not going to have legs and it's not going to live on. Meaning, you're posting it, maybe a few people see it, and then they forget about it and they go and they move about their day. When the reality is you can and should be creating content that does multiple things for your business. Creating content is a little bit of a chore for some people. And so if you are going to do that chore, you want to make sure that you're maximizing the effort that you're putting in. Well, there are a lot of large publications such as Forbes and Inc. and Business Insider and Success that you can create content for, and they will pay you for that content. And more than that, it's content that has legs, meaning that when you publish the article, it's going to be on their site, it's going to go to their millions of readers, it's going to show up in search, Google search, so when people are searching for how to do certain things, your article is going to pop up. And then also when people search your name, like let's say you work with customers and consumers and people that you want to be your customers, when they put your name in Google and they start to see those publications pop up at the top of Google, it's going to add more credibility. Because at the end of the day, there are a lot of people on the internet that are selling things. How do you know what's real and what's not? How do you know what's going to give you what you need and what's just going to be fluff? So trust is an important part of especially taking cold prospects and turning those prospects into customers. So when you have that brand credibility, and then when they can click on those links and they can see your content there on those publications about all kinds of topics, you are building trust, you're showing expertise through that content, and then just practically while you're doing all that, there's publications that will pay you for that content that you'd probably create for free anyways. So that's what this video is going to be. I'm going to walk you through paid publications, and specifically how can you get into some paid publications if you haven't been published in a bunch of different places on the internet. If you don't feel like you're an expert or have some big name, how do you get into some paid publications and kind of get the most use out of your content? So let me turn on the screen share here. Something to understand is that a lot of these publications that you read every day, Business Insider, Success, Fortune, etc., now pay outside contributors for content. So when I say outside contributor, what I mean is somebody who is not a staff writer or an editor, somebody that doesn't work for those publications. These publications see the value in bringing in a lot of other voices, and because those people aren't on staff and they tend to be entrepreneurs or content creators, they are willing to pay for that content. They know that there's value in paid outside contributors because they don't have to pay all the benefits associated with playing employed. So that's the first thing to understand, is that a lot of these large publications now do pay for content. And then the second thing to understand is that there's a difference between what we call core publications and one-off publications. Core publications are publications that will let you contribute on an ongoing basis. So I am a contributor at entrepreneur.com. If you went to entrepreneur.com, you would see my profile there. You would see that I am a VIP contributor to Entrepreneur. You would see all of my various articles here on Entrepreneur, and you would be able to go and you'd be able to read those articles. Now, when I want to contribute to Entrepreneur, I log into my contributor portal. This is what my contributor portal looks like. You sign in, and this is where you upload content going forward. Now, the thing to understand about core and one-offs is core publications will give you the ability to publish articles consistently and whenever you want and on an ongoing basis. One-off publications only allow you to contribute content on a case-by-case basis, meaning that if you wanted to get into some of these one-off publications that pay, you would have to pitch them every single time. That's something to keep in mind. So what we tell people when it comes to getting into paid publications is you want to get one core publication and then you want to get some one-offs, because the reality is you don't have the bandwidth to contribute 11 articles every month to all these publications. Most people don't have that bandwidth. So core publications would either be Forbes or it would be Inc.com. Both Forbes and Inc.com, once you become a contributor, they gave you a portal like you saw me access, and that's where you upload articles going forward. Now, the thing to understand about these core publications, Forbes and Inc., is for Forbes, you have to contribute 5 articles every month to get paid. 5 articles every month to get paid, and they pay you based off of the page views of your articles. So for every so many views, every 1,000 views of your articles, you're going to get like $8.50 to $9. For Inc., for every 1,000 views your articles get, you're going to get $8.50. So you're watching this here on YouTube. YouTube pays AdSense in a similar fashion. It's the same sort of situation for these publications. Now, for Forbes, if you do not make the kind of revenue that you want to make, they do have a minimum guarantee of $250 that they'll give you as a paid contributor. But you have to contribute 5 times a month. For Inc., it's 6 times a month to get paid. If you want to get paid by Inc., 6 times a month. So now you see why we say you want one core publication and then some of these one-off publications, because if you're contributing, if you're publishing 5 to 6 articles every single month, that is a lot of volume and that is a lot of production. And so you want to make sure that you can sustain that, because if you do it 1 month and then you disappear for the next month, you're going to lose your contributor count and it's going to be almost impossible to get back in. So those are the core publications. The ultimate goal is to get one of the core publications, if it's your intention to contribute to paid publications and to really make this a revenue stream that brings in more than $10,000 a month. So if you want to get 5 figures a month just from publication, it makes sense to get one core publication. Then there's auxiliary publications. So these are the publications where you have to pitch every single time, but you can get paid for article. So here's an example. Here's Worth. For example, Worth is a publication that has finance and business and lifestyle and innovation. And they have all sorts of categories on Worth, and they pay $1,000 per article. So for every article that you put on here, it's $1,000, but again, you will have to pitch it. Here's O Magazine, Oprah's magazine. You know that this is the magazine of Oprah, but it's actually owned by Hearst Corporation. So if you went down, you scroll down to the bottom and you look for all of the information, you're going to see that it's owned by Hearst, which is, a big, large conglomerate. And to get articles published here, they pay you $1,500 per article. So every article that you get published on here, they'll pay you $1,500 per article. Or Men's Health and Women's Health, same sort of situation, where you can write about all kinds of topics related to men and women, or however you identify, and they'll pay you $1,000 to $2,000 an article. Now, these are the auxiliary publications. And with these publications, you would pitch, you would get an idea accepted, you would write the article, and you would get paid just for the article. That's going to be very different than Forbes, and it's going to be very different than Inc. or some of the core publications. So if you're looking to add this as a strategy, go for one of the cores and then think about which one of these auxiliary publications make sense. If you go to our website, rgicai.com, you'll see that we have all kinds of blog posts on there about publications that pay, and I'll link to some of those here in the description of this video. But there's literally hundreds of publications that will pay you for content. The goal here is to decide which ones make sense for you so that you're not just sitting here chasing your tail. Now, The next part of this is to understand the requirements to get in. So if you wanted to get into a core publication such as an Inc. or a Forbes, you're going to need to have social proof that they're looking for, meaning they want to see where your articles are published on the internet, some of your other published articles. They want to see that you have an established website, which shows your credibility. So for example, if they were looking at me, they could go to the website that I just mentioned to you, and they could see all of our articles here and all of on our blog and our content. So here's the articles that I was referencing to you. And they would see exactly who we are, what they do, all the information that they'd be looking for. They see an established presence. If they Googled my name, what they would see here is my main website. They would see that I'm an author. They would see all of these large publications pop up here, success. So this is what I talked about at the beginning of the video, that brand credibility, CEO World, Life Hack, all these publications here. They would see that I am I'm an expert. I've published things in a bunch of places. So if I was going to pitch a core publication like a Forbes or an Inc., or maybe even Business Insider, they would be able to see that I have the social proof they're looking for. So if you wanted to go for the core publications, you would need a website that shows your expertise, and it's very clear what that expertise is. To have at least articles published on a few different websites besides your own, and they would want to see that you know your topic. Now, the good news is, and this is kind of what I tease you about, is if you wanted to get published in publications that didn't require all those things, that let's say you haven't been published anywhere else on the internet besides, you haven't been published anywhere on the internet, not even your own website, right? Let's say you don't have your website up. Let's say you don't have all of the things that I mentioned here, but you still wanted to write for publications. The auxiliary publications is where you would go. So if you wanted to pitch Men's Health or Women's Health, O Magazine, Worth, Business Insider, and a smattering of other publications, if you wanted to pitch these, all you need is a good hook for an idea. Because again, they're not giving you an established column. So for them, the editors at these auxiliary publications, it's just all about what is the idea and how does the idea fit for the things that we publish. So the good news is, for those that tuned in for this and you're like, look, I don't have all of those things that you mentioned. That's fine. You don't have to have all those things that I mentioned, because these auxiliary publications are where it's at and where you can be published without having published anywhere or not having the website. All they're looking for here is the good hook, the good idea. Meaning, what are you going to write about for these publications that pay that is interesting? Is it something that's trending in the news? Is it a personal experience you had, something within your story that's kind of unique and personal? What is it that would be a good hook for these places? So I'll give you an example of that. We have a client of ours. His name is Rakeem, and he shared his story about how, this is Rakeem here, he shared his story about how he quit his job and how he quit his job because he couldn't handle the mental stress, and he pitched that to Business Insider, got picked up by the New York Post and a bunch of other places. So if you looked him up here, he actually went viral for this story here. Let's see if it shows up in search. So here's his entrepreneur right there. And then here's his Business Insider. Here's the article that I told you. So look, I quit my 10-year career as a banking manager when I felt the real me slipping away. Look, become an entrepreneur saved me. And this story went absolutely viral. It was picked up everywhere. It got him columns and media and features, right? And so in a situation like this was the hook that got him into a paid publication. And that's exactly what these auxiliary publications are looking for, is what's the hook? What's your story? What is something that's interesting or unique that would work for O's readers, or that would work for Worth's readers? And once you come up with that hook, that idea, you can get published on these auxiliary publications and get paid from these auxiliary publications without having been published anywhere else, which is good news. Now, all right, so you're in the camp. Let's say you have an established platform, you have some things published, then your goal would be to target one of the cores, so the Forbes or the Inc., But let's say you're in the camp that you don't have any of those things. You just have a good idea or some things you want to talk about, but you want to get paid for those. So you're going to go after the auxiliary publications. So whatever the case is, I'm going to show you a basic template, if you will, that you can use when you're pitching some of these publications. So first, you would put the editor's information here. You could get that directly on the website, the editors at the publications. So if you want to, like, let's say you were looking at a publication like Time, you would see here that they list off all of their various editors and what those editors do. So then you get the editor's email address, you'd put it here. Then you want a subject line that creates curiosity. So don't write create curiosity. I'm just showing you the template. So you want to create curiosity here. So let's say a story like you quit a job. I quit my job. That's your subject line there, is I quit my job. Your goal is to get the editor so curious they want to open the email. I had to take a quick little caffeine break there. And by the way, if you're going to follow along on these vlogs, I love caffeine. I'm a caffeine addict. Coffee, that is. I freely admit it. I love coffee, that form of caffeine. All right. So let's go back to this. And so you are creating a subject line that creates curiosity. Then hello, and then put the editor's name. Don't put hello editor. It looks like you copy and pasted it. Put the editor's name there. Then put who you are and what you do. Who are you? What's a little bit of your story? What do you do? But try to make that only one paragraph. Then, if you have any samples of your work, you can put them here. Again, if you're going after the auxiliary ones, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, because you don't need the samples of your work. If you're going after auxiliary publications, all they care about is the hook. But if you're going after one of the core ones, you definitely need samples of your work. And then look, what is your hook? What are the ideas that you have for that publication? What could you create content about for that publication specifically? This is where the hook comes in. This is where your unique idea, this is where the idea that is going to get you in would come in. If it's a core publication, the idea here is going to be about what you typically create content on. So is it high performance? Is it mental wellness? Is it digital marketing? Is it content marketing? If this is an auxiliary publication, here's my story, or here's a unique idea I can create content on. That's what you put here, and then simply end it with your name. If you have any signature line stuff or whatever, get rid of that, and don't put any attachments here. Don't attach a one sheet or anything for them to see here, because then it's going to get caught in spam filters, and they're not going to look at it. But as far as getting to paid publications, that's it. There's a lot of publications that pay. You're going to have a link. You're going to have some links in the description here to various articles that I've written about specific publications that will pay you. It's going to have core publications. It's going to have auxiliary publication. But that's the thing that I want you to keep in mind is, where are you at in this journey? My message to you here on this vlog is very simple. You don't have to be a starving artist. You can get paid for your content. You're doing it anyways. Why not do it in the places that will pay you, that will give you that good SEO, that will help build your brand and business, and you can. Those are the steps. You can get into a core publication, you can get into some auxiliary publications, and the good news is you can get into auxiliary publications right now, this week. You don't have to wait. You can pitch them. They're always receptive, and they're looking for all kinds of ideas on all kinds of topics. So this is something that you can make work if you wanted to. So there's no reason why, no matter where you're at in the journey, you can't sit there and think about what makes sense, what part of my story or something interesting that's happening in the news, something that's trending that you could talk about, and you could pitch that, and you could be getting paid to publish articles about that topic. We're currently in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I'm filming this. We're in Atlanta, Georgia. We left Wisconsin. That would have been the last place you've seen me. With left Wisconsin. We're here for a little bit. Then we're going to head back to Florida, and then we're going to be going to Puerto Rico. So follow along on these vlogs. If you found value in this about paid publications, be sure, if you're not already, subscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, because I plan on releasing a lot more content like this. That's about publications, paid publications, and just practical things that you can use that will help you build your business and create a freedom-based life. Now, the goal for you is to go out there and it's to pitch some paid publications. Come back here in the comments when you do and you have a win. But what I want you to do is I want you to go in the comments right now and tell me what is a dream paid publication that you'd like to be in, or tell me how much additional revenue would you like to generate through paid publications. I'd love to know, and maybe I can point you in the right direction in the comments on some paid publications that you should go after. So I'm signing off, and I hope it's amazing day and it's amazing wherever you are in the world.